Let's have a quick conversation about CRST Expedited. And if you are a truck driver, and you are interested in this company, here's a review I want you to pay attention to. Okay. So if you think about CRST, you have a company that actually was started in 1955. So they've been around for many, many, many decades now. Okay. And so basically, this is a company that actually is pretty national. They have they have operations all over the country. Okay, and the cool thing about CRST is that they're constantly innovating. They're constantly recruiting. They're constantly hiring. The company is actually family owned, so this is not your regular let's say stock exchange traded publicly traded company. No, this is a family owned company, private company. Okay, and what I love about the CRST business model is that they're constantly sort of revamping their operations to see exactly to actually adapt to changing needs. For instance, during COVID, they actually did something very fantastic by adapting to the changing economy. Okay, so and by the way, they are actually they are based in Chicago, so their headquarters in Chicago. Okay, but they are actually present nationally. What about so let's talk about their expedited paid CDL training. Okay, so CRST offers a full paid CDL training program where you can get your CDL for little or no money upfront. So that's pretty good in terms of flexibility. And the length of training at CRST is actually about I would say 3 months, so 12 weeks. Okay, so CDL training will last from 8 to 12 weeks. This will include 2 to 4 weeks of training to get your CDL, followed by a 4-day orientation session at a CRST terminal, and also 30 to 60 days on the road with a company trainer. So they just want to make sure that you have as much experience as possible before you start driving for the company full time. In terms of the average pay during training, you will average approximately 550 per week during your training, $550. And training pay is up to 32 cents for the first 2 months, up to 35 cents for from 3 to 5 months, and up to 41 cents from 6 to 11. So that's pretty good if you think about the industry average. Okay, and you are dispatched as a team during training with the CRST. Okay, and also at the company you will run team after training. Okay, and they also almost exclusively work with teams. So this is something to really remember. So one thing I want you to remember here is that CRST Expedited corporate headquarters is actually those headquarters are actually in Iowa. I said Chicago before, but no, they are in Iowa. They do have some operation in Chicago, but they're not based in terms of their principal head office. They are based in Iowa. So you can see on the screen here. Here is their address. Okay, something to think about. Now, what about getting hired at CRST Expedited? First of all, you must be at least 21 years old and pass a DMV DOT physical and a pre-employment drug screen. The drug screen is pretty critical. They want you to make sure that you are fit for the job. You must have a good driving record and have been licensed in the U.S. for a minimum of 2 years out of the last 3 years. No DUI, DWI, or open container violations in the last 5 years. No more than one DUI in the last 15 years, and no more than two DUIs in your lifetime. So be very careful there. They're really strict about that. And criminal convictions will be reviewed on a case by case basis. And and that's the same thing for hiring drivers with felonies. Okay, I mean, if you have a felony, you still have you could still be lucky, but they will review this on a case by case basis. And in terms of so one thing I need to say here is that in terms of their hiring area, they're hiring in Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Illinois. I think I said about Chicago, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri. So you can see that this is a pretty national operation. Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico. I'll put this on the screen so you can see if your state is actually in the list. So they have New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, okay, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, Washington D.C., West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. So I can tell you that you can see on the screen here. Here is a hiring map for CRST Expedited as of 2020 during COVID. Okay, but the thing is that you can see that they are actually present in pretty specific key markets. So that's really good. So basically, the minimum hiring age for CRST is actually 21 years. So 21 years. I mean, some how do I say it? Some for some companies it's actually 18, but with CRST is 21 years. So if you have to compare and contrast this to other players, for Salmon, for instance, is 25 years. For A. Dewey Pile, you have a 23. Lone Star 22. Swift 21. Okay, CTL 21. And actually, there is no minimum experience to actually drive for CRST Expedited. Okay, so this is pretty good because other companies are not that lenient. For instance, AAA Cooper wants you to have 24 months minimum experience. Martin wants you to have 6 months. So something to really remember. So CRST is kind of similar to Swift, Knight, Crete, CT, also CTL, and CRST average weekly pay. So if you're driving right now, if you start driving with CRST Expedited, expect to make on average $1,000. So that's about 52 grand a year. Okay, and if you compare that to other players in the industry, you can see that CRST is like right in the middle because they are paying less than Wagoners, because Wagoners is actually giving you a 1307 per week. Jim Palmer is giving you $1,100 per week. Prime is about giving you the same thing that CRST is giving you. Melton is doing the same thing. Saladin and Covenant are actually paying you less. Okay, something to really think about. And if you are a team driver, your pay will be a little different than if you are a solo driver. So if you're a team driver, your starting pay actually will be around 33 cents per mile. 33 cents per mile. And you can see that here also CRST is like right in the middle because Wagoners is paying way more, 67 cents per mile. CarArk is paying 43 cents per mile. Okay, and for Rush, Venture, Central, JBS, you're looking at 41 to 55, and so that's pretty good. Okay. So what about the driver benefits? So if you are interested in driving for a CRST Expedited, what kind of benefits can you expect? Well, the good thing is you'll be really pleased about the kind of benefits they have, because you have access to medical insurance, you have paid time off, you have 401k, you have life insurance, so that's really good. You have life insurance, you have dental insurance, you have vision insurance, you have flexible benefits, you have short-term disability, so that's pretty good because you're sure that you're taken care of if something were to happen, right? And in terms of their operations, you have all kinds of possibilities. So in terms of driver types, you have teams or own-op lease. So you can be a team driver, or you can be an own-op owner-operator, or a lease driver. And the freight types, you have dry van, so this is kind of cool. And the route types, you have a OTR specifically, OTR. So plan that in your agenda. And in terms of their expedited, here is a company that actually I think I've said this before. They operate nationally, so all the 48 continental states they are there. They do not operate in Hawaii or Alaska. So something to really keep in mind, okay? And so what about their expedited terminal locations? So they have terminal locations in Jurupa Valley in California, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. You have Carlisle, Pennsylvania, Laredo, Texas, and Cedar Rapids in Iowa. So this is something that you need to really think about if you are considering driving for this company this year. So CRST is actually a pretty profitable company and pretty solid too. Okay, they're making about 1.5 to 1.8 billion dollars a year. So that tells you a lot about their solidity. It tells you a lot about their scalability too. Okay, their ability to accommodate all kinds of deliveries. So, but CRST is not really that big when compared to others. For example, JB Hunt is grossing 6 to 6.5 billion dollars every single year. Okay, that's a huge difference, right? From 1.5 to $6 billion, and you have Celadon is about half a billion, and the others are pretty small. Central, Ozark, KNB, and GNP. Those are pretty small operations. And in terms of yearly miles, CRST is about half a billion miles. The reason why I'm giving you all the miles is because it tells you a lot about the I would say the massive transaction flow that a trucking company trucking company has. So the more miles that you have on a yearly basis, the more opportunities you as a driver might actually make money driving for that company. Okay. So if you were to compare what CRST actually is having every year versus what others are having, like CRST is having about 500 million miles. In by comparison, Swift is at about 2 billion miles. Okay, Penshaw is about 184. PAM, same thing. Transport America 180. Okay, and you have MCT and Ozark are pretty smaller operations. And in terms of the driver unload percentage, it's actually 1%. So at CRST, you have 1%. And by comparison, you have Trimark 95%, Navajo 50%, Ozark 5%, SRT 0%, Wheel-Trans, and Maverick the same thing. What about the drop and hook percentage? If you were to be working at CRST, well, here you have 80%. Okay, 80% to really to drop and hook. By comparison, you have Covenant at 95%, Ozark 95%, Carter 80%, Navajo 50%, Wheel-Trans 20%, and Central 0%. And in terms of company policies, if you are a truck driver at CRST Expedited, well, the company has the following home time options available. So you have weekly and monthly. So something to really, you have to see which one works for you, for your lifestyle. Okay, you have a 1 day home time for every week on the road, and but CRST does not allow anyone to ride along. Okay. And in terms of tuition reimbursement, the company is there to kind of help you out. So once training has been completed, you as the student will be eligible for tuition reimbursement up to a total of $8,000. And so CRST does not allow any pets at all. Okay. So in terms of programs for military personnel, active military reservist and honorably discharged veterans receive a $500 bonus on top of any other bonus offered at CRST. Okay. The cool thing is the company is approved to honor your GI Bill benefits through the VA, and also will provide you credit towards your pay for your previous military service. So something to really think about. And this is a solid company once again. Okay, they have about 1,500 to 2,000 trucks. By comparison, Swift is at about 25,000 trucks. Stevens 2,000 trucks. Okay, Premier 1,000. Tango 844, MTS 700, and Lytton 200. Okay, in terms of the number of trailers, they have 7,300 trailers. By comparison, JB Hunt is around 87,000, Knights 8,000, 8 to 9,000, TMC 3,000, Schaeffer 2,800, KLLM 2,400, and Wiltrans actually 300. So that gives you a little comparison here. And the governed speed actually you have 65 miles per hour. So CRST you have 65 miles per hour. And by comparison, Millis is 70 miles per hour, Carter 68, CRST 65, Lone Star 65, Transport America 64, May 61, Schneider 60. Okay, something to really keep in mind. So what are the tractor brands here? So of course you have CRST, you have Eagle, you have Navajo, you have actually Southeastern, you have Dillon, you have XPO, you have Decker. Okay, that's pretty good. You have Carter, you have Super Service, you have a TMC, you have Melton, you have Call Arc. So that's pretty good. And what are the transmission types to really account for here? Well, the thing is that CRST has a mix of standard and automatic transmissions, so that's really good because you can drive the kind of sorry about that, the kind of transmission you have. Okay, so for standards you have Lone Star, Crate, KNB, Hunt, Prime, Schaeffer. For automatics you have Everett, Watkins, Shepherd. You have AAA Cooper. You have Koch, Millis, and Maverick, so that's really good. And in terms of the mix of both, you have Melton, Navajo, TMC, Ozark, Schneider, and Trimark. So this is something good in terms of flexibility. And one thing I want to say is that if you are thinking about an APU policy at CRST, at CRST, you have to really understand that the company does not have trucks equipped with APUs. The thing with APUs is that it has to depend on the company policy, but also the kind of trajectory the trucks will be running through. Okay, so in terms of APU equipped, you have Hirschbach, you have Ozark, you have Jim Palmer, you have Maverick, you have Pashal, and you have Celadon. Okay. Without APUs, you have Roll, you have Hunt, you have Cohen, you have United Road, you have First Fleet, and you have Central Transport. So this is something to really account for. And there are cases where you have a mix of both. So for instance, you have TMC and KNB. So this is something to really think about. As a recap into this conversation, I spoke to you about CRST Expedited. This was an in-depth review of the company. I gave you all the info that you need to know about the company to actually make a decision whether or not this is actually the trucking company you want to drive for. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.